It is now time to, it's time to go, huh? We have, hang on 1 second here. I want to make sure that... Okay, there we are. Hi, Silver Pirate. And Reaper work. Gee, everyone's starting to trickle in here. All right, well, get comfy, grab a drink or something, and sit back. We're going to, in order to get into the thoughts of, to recap if you've missed out on content, and also to kind of put us back in the immediacy. We're going to go throughout the players here. They're going to give a little recap of events from the perspective of their character. That kind of lets them slip into their mindset as well, and everyone wins. At least up in this theater. So grab a snack, sit back, and we're going to start with Investigator Jacob Stillwaters and get his point of view for what is going on. Not just like right now. It could just be right now, but what are his thoughts regarding the present-ish time frame?
Yes, well, after having a moment to end up, reconnoitering and trying to gain to understand these individuals of who I ended up traveling with, I ended up, it had occurred to me that there's some form of link between myself and the others. For me, it's familiar, but unfortunately, that has been accosted by seafaring ooze creatures. Now, if I recall, they all ended up coming from the Shadowhar Empire. We ended up seeing this, and we ended up getting hints that a boat had gone under. Now, because of this, I have to end up concluding that a shipment had been recently sunk. Now, early on, there was a mention that these man-o-wars were all something that had been encountered beforehand. Now, inside these man-o-wars appear to be entrapped individuals, but when I ended up trying to rip one of them out, it turned out to be some kind of fanged menace that tried to end up here biting in and had, in fact, caused me great harm. Thankfully, due to my newly found compatriots, I don't appear to be infected, at least for the time being, but I am, in fact, trying to end up capturing a, for lack of a better term, a live one, in order to end up beginning questioning. This is an investigation more than anything, and simply smiting it because it is evil does not end up boding well for an investigation, especially when it's clear that the compatriots that I am currently accompanying have had previous experience with said creature. Whether it's a vampire or not, I still have not completely bought into. I am not one for the fanciful, I am one very much for the academic. And for as much as they wish to end up showing me magic and what have you, magic has been one of the most unreliable sources of investigation known. Some will claim to have seen one thing and another, but ultimately you need to be able to end up proving it to the local authorities. And unfortunately, not all of them end up practicing magic. Hard evidence is what we are seeking. Testimonies and trying to end up here uncovering this mystery one point at a time. While you may be able to hide magic, you cannot hide the Shadowhar uniforms. You cannot end up hiding the corpses. You cannot end up hiding these man-o-wars. And in such, I intend to end up taking as much as I can in order to end up moving this investigation forward.
Very good. Very practical and straightforward. As you do, Jacob. Let's pop over to Celine. Going down the line here. Celine, what is happening in your world?
My world. How do I put... I think it's very suffice to say that the Man-o-Wars have returned with a vengeance. Not particularly surprised. They are exceptionally nasty creatures. All you can do for them and the people that they've trapped if they've been in there a long time is quick, painless death, which I am currently doing.
You have been administering that by summoning an orbital laser effectively down onto patches of the sea.
I may not beherre, bit my
Quite.
recipes.
I mean, it might be presumptuous for me to say, but I once talked to a very wise man, and he once told me that if you really need something gone, when in doubt, nuke it from orbit. I know that's exactly what I am doing.
All right. Let's head over to Casimir. Casimir, what is going on?
Well, Sline's magic did not work best for me. It's a no, I found the little barrel, latched on, was swimming back, and then Mordecai friend he grabbed me and did his magic eject button thing, and now I am on coastline. Is nice. Is on sand. Is good. But these creatures, man of war, never encountered them before, but they are in range for arrow, so I hit.
That was really nice of Mordecai to do that.
Huh.
Kind of an upstanding guy. All right. Yeah, you don't really have a lot of practice. You said that you were a hunter. You don't really have a lot of practice with things like big jellyfish.
Well, I wonder if they taste good.
All
Nice.
right.
They
Anything
don't
else?
really have meat.
Barring nothing else, then let's head over to Mordecai and get your point of view from things.
Being accosted in the middle of the ocean because we decided to walk out and investigate some shipwreck thing. I don't know. I had no interest in actually investigating the thing because shipwrecks happen. It's tragic, yes, but it's one of those things that happen on the sea. And so when monsters and things started appearing and the water walk for whatever reason stopped working on Casimir, I got a little bit worried.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
That's been happening to us a lot. Things just get dispelled. And
Like heat from a fish.
Yeah.
Some monster's after you.
So yeah, I'm not exactly excited about the fact that we have to fight some monsters right now, but it's a fact of life these days. So
Yep.
let's torch.
If it means anything to you, Mordecai, as this does seem to be an understandable goal of yours, keep in mind that there is the philosophy that a monster cannot truly defeat a monster. Only a man can defeat a monster. And if you yourself are not a monster for being a vampire, then this might be a way to prove that.
I am not a monster.
Very good. All right. Lastly, and leastly, but more by weight, we have Bright. Bright, what is going on with you?
Okay, so hopefully you can't hear my fan. It's
You're
a
good.
cantrip that I have. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we're in the middle of a fight, and I mean it's kind of good and bad news because I mean, obviously it's a Shadowheart ship full of vampires. And the vampires got eaten by MattyMorgs, which is actually maybe that's a plus because you know, can help provide maybe a little defense against them. Kind of an interesting connection because the Manowars attacked us when we were carrying, or when the ship was carrying Tippa and his father, and now they're attacking the Shadowhar too, and it just seems like the Manowars maybe are drawn to stuff. But in the short term, we have to kill everybody, so that's fun. And it's kind of frustrating for me because I have all the wrong spells because we were going to teleport back to town, and I had spells for town, but instead we're fighting vampires on the seashore. So that's all wrong.
Yeah.
But stuff happens. So okay, that's all.
Okay. Best laid plans and all that. Well, it's okay. In another reality, all your spells were absolutely the correct ones that you needed for the day. All right. So we're gonna. For those of you out there who are joining us, this is sort of the IRL look of the tiny hut's no longer there, but this is the general real view of what you're seeing. And now that you have this in mind, we have driftwood and we have a sand cliff and seagrass, waves and such. We're going to go to this expertly drawn. I spent over 9,000 hours using my MS Paint skills in order to reconstruct this on a digital vinyl mat with my digital wet erase markers. Because if you use dry erase markers, you're going to have a bad time. If that happens, use dry erase marker on the dry erase marker and quickly wipe it up while it's wet. Anyway, that handy-dandy tip aside, I'm going to go over this one more time, and I will remind you all, by the way, that each of you have this floating inspiration, or like an advantage, effectively, that was given to you because a fickle god has seen fit to see you on your way in a beneficent fashion. Arguably, too, so can there be a pickle god. So we have fickle god and pickle god. But yes, so you have that, and it will fade at the end of tonight's session. So, use them if you got them. As you recall, beach is normal movement. You have these sand dunes that are this expertly drawn topographical map indicating not just 5 feet up, but 10 feet up as well. The gray parts are shadow, so it's dim light. The area between the solid yellow and this light blue is like this shallow zone where the waves are crashing, so it's difficult terrain. Ooh, pardon me. Who knew soda made you burp? That's dumb. And once you're past that, the rolling waves aren't as bad even if you have water walk still. But here it's getting a little rough. We had you have your Celine. You have your. It's not Moonbeam. It's something else that's active over here. Dawning.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the spell dawn. Yes.
And the
Like
enemies. The enemies in the water here. The purple ones are. Now I'm going to zoom in real close so folks can see the difference here. There's these purple ones, jellyfish, and they have people inside them. If you see a purple one with a red dot, that means that the jellyfish has been dispatched, and the person that was inside is now revealed. And there are... Whoops, I forgot to tag this one also. After revealing several of the people inside, you saw that... I'm sorry, not that one. That was... they were wearing Shadowhar naval uniforms. Were the ones that also had the pink dot next to them here. These two. And then there's just a couple green ones left that have just, through sheer luck, and by that I mean, well, just the roll of the dice, managed to dip and dodge and weave in the waves on the way forward, and they are Manowars without anyone inside of them. And they, I don't know, if any of you want to volunteer, we'll take applications. So yeah, they're floating up here. Casimir is now on the shore and no longer X amount of distance away from the green mark. However, there is... Well, Casimir didn't see it. Mordecai certainly caught a glimpse and felt the swirl. There's something out there that's big and kind of hungry. And also floating slowly to shore with the waves out here in yonder distance is also a bunch of crates and other parts of a destroyed ship. Presumably that the sailors and apparently at least this one sailor here is a vampire. I think that covers everything. So we're gonna head into it. I in an analog fashion, I saved our game, and so here is our wonderful modern initiative tracker. Yes, it is a piece of cardboard with a marker, because that's it's just how it is. There we go. My analog pen, and we're going to go back to the top of the initiative. And Jacob, it went Jacob, Bright, Mordecai, Casimir. Then I get to do something. Then Celine, and then I get to do something again. And so, Jacob, you have this. I don't know, something, a little sparkle in your eye. A fickle god has given you a little bit of wind in your sails, should you need it. But we are over to you. You have this half-drowned looking woman who definitely appears different, and she's been trying to nom on you. You've been having some weird kind of distortion feelings, whatever that's about. But we're over to you. What do?
I'm going to try and grapple and subdue.
Very well. Grapple. Grappele. And we will see what happens. Ooh, 17, huh? All right.
Which is still a low roll.
Okay. So you describe your grapple.
Well, as she ends up here reaching towards me, trying to end up here taking another bite. Quickly, I end up here grabbing, taking the shield and placing it down upon her arm, knocking her a bit to the side. As I end up here using that forward momentum, I'm not afraid of drowning the creature. It's clearly not going to drown. So I force it face first in the water, trying to end up here twisting its arm behind. My sword arm. I end up dropping hold of the hammer, reaching for my manacles. I'm prepared to arrest this creature. Obviously, that's going to take more than 6 seconds, but I'm prepared to manacle this creature.
Very well. All right, so Jacob is in the. You're kind of like being buffeted by the waves and such, but you're holding her down and making her preparations. We now come over to Bright. Bright, what are you doing here?
First thing, Celine, if you have control water by any chance ready, you could push some of these back out to sea. That might be really efficient. Okay, that's all. And I'm really not a lot of use until these guys come on land, so I'm just gonna take a firebolt shot at this guy. Which one is it? There it is. Oh, it was this one here.
Very good.
You might be muted.
Oh, I am. There we go. All right. A bolt of fire streaks across the sea. Now we come down to Mordecai.
Wait,
Oh.
I wanted to find out if it killed it or not.
Oh shoot! No, it's still kind of. Remember, after being freed from the jellyfish, they're kind of like floating and they're moving very kind of like faintly, but it still seems to be trying to weakly make its way to shore.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and take 5 steps back.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Okay. Sorry guys, I'm not very much use today, and don't let them bite you, especially you, Jacob, and also you, Casimir. Don't let them bite you. And Mordecai, it's okay if they bite you. Okay, that's all I'm done.
Wait, what?
Oh.
You're not like your friend.
Speaking of Mordecai, hi Mordecai, what are you doing?
Hello. I am going to do. So this right here is difficult terrain, right? I am going to do 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. Move here. I'm gonna cast Bane at 2nd level.
I'm sorry, you cold? Yes.
Target 4 creatures. They have to make a Charisma saving throw.
Okay, I'm going to roll 4 dice, and we will see what happens.
The 19 will save, the rest won't. Let's do this. This guy, this guy, and this guy. Yep. And this one. Okay. And Jacob, what you might see out of the corner of your eye is that Mordecai swipes his thumb across his across a very sharp tooth in his mouth, and it creates this black smoke that kind of envelops the creature in front of you.
Oh.
What kind of a tingle? Okay. All right. Oh, I am concentrating on that, and then I am giving inspiration to Jacob. Just kind of doing a little bit of a dancing flourish since I don't have my instrument in my hand at the moment.
I am going to take pot shot at this one.
Pot shot?
At the. this
Okay,
one.
got it. Fire away. Pew. And as you shoot, your arrow kind of bloops into the water.
Yeah, I'm not good vision in this side. I'm also going to move back up.
Okay. All right. If there's nothing else, Casimir. Oh.
Eye is not good.
Okay.
Yeah, I have scars.
Let's see. These ones up here were being kind of dodgy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one. This one goes... They're not the best on land. So it's going to... It's going to start kind of slurping over the sands towards Casimir and Bright. And there is a person inside. Looks like they're wielding a weapon of some kind, but, you know, like the tendrils are wrapped around, and so it's almost like puppeting the person who's inside. And this other one just managed to get onto the beach. And then we have these ones. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one's going to move up and is going to attempt to engulf Mordecai. So Mordecai, you need, this is kind of like a grapple. So this is, I would need an imposed athletics or an acrobatics of an 18 or higher.
Acrobatics, I will spend my advantage on that.
Okay. Ooh, all right. So Mordecai, what you see happen is this man-o-war is going through the water and just starts affixing tendrils around Mordecai, and Mordecai, you take 14 acid damage as this thing is starting to sting, and it's kind of like wrinkling your skin, and it's distorting it.
Can I still? Oh, never mind. I corrected myself. I just checked the rule.
So it's sharing your space effectively, Mordecai. And so for anyone who wants to help Mordecai in this instance, just remember that they're both in the same space. So I'm open to creative ideas, but you might hit Mordecai depending on what you do. And so Mordecai, you can feel this thing is trying to overwhelm you and assert itself. The poison, or not the poison, the acid is stinging you, and is kind of getting some of your, not in a mechanical sense, but your muscles are kind of like being twitchy as these toxins of a sort are asserting themselves.
Is it just damage, or am I under any condition?
This is just damage.
Okay.
I mean, you're grappled and you're taking damage. But this isn't a charm effect or anything, at least not at the moment. But you know that these things do somehow, take someone over and control them.
Do I know that? I mean, I'm a Mesomascan native, but I wasn't there for the ship.
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll give you a freebie nature on this. Okay, so yes, man-o-wars are a bit of a nuisance. I mean, to just say that they're a nuisance, they do legitimately threaten ships. They're a natural creature that floats through the sea, and so this is kind of their season. Though they're not acting the way that you've heard people talk about.
And this is quite a number of
them. Actually, this is
common.
Well, it's a goodly amount. There's certainly larger patches that have been discovered, but this is a concentrated effort of some kind.
All right. Well, that's a thing. As long as I can still do reactions and things like that, I'm still fine with that, right?
Yeah. You're under the grappled condition.
Okay.
So, other than that, okay. So that's the ones that are possessing or possessive. We now come down to Celine, and then the freed bodies are going to go after you.
Yes. So, bonus section, I am going to summon my spiritual weapon
Pew.
next to the one attacking Mordecai.
Sure. Well, it would be on Mordecai.
Is that concentration?
Nope. 1 minute. And then, as an action, this will be coming down here. And there'll be some damage for that one too.
Okay. First things first, the spiritual weapon, do you get to attack with that, or do you just summon that into
it's
existence?
an attack.
Okay. Let's take care of that first. And let's see if we can put a token or something. What would be a spiritual weapon looking thing? I'm a pleb and I have the free asset pack, so. There we go. We're just gonna put it. Apparently, an Elven Knight is your current manifestation. All right, so that attacks for a 22.
That's
Or-
to hit, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, your scythe as it manifests,
Yes.
you you bring it up next to or over top of Mordecai, and this spiritual scythe shlink swings down, and Mordecai it may have caught one little strand of your hair. However, the rest of this creature that was enveloping you loosens its grip and kind of like falls into spaghetti noodles into the crashing waves.
Not take
And now I will do the stuff for Dawn for those things there.
Okay, and those
just
are
if
con
it- if it
saves?
it will be, yes. And just so that you are aware, the Dawn area is considered to be like sunlight, if that matters.
Okay. All right. So I need one,
So
two,
that's
three,
the Dawn.
4, 5 con saves, and we're gonna go top to bottom.
And a couple of them are baned, aren't they?
They are.
So they'll be taking neg.
Ooh, actually, I need to do a concentration check. Give me a sec. Nope. Bane's gone.
Okay, they're not banned.
Okay. All right, and let's see what happens here. All right. 5, 19, 11, 16, and 17. And I'm aiming for a 16 here.
Yep.
So it looks like 3 of them are going to save. Number 2, 4, and 5.
That's fine. They'll take half then, which will be 10, and the other 2 will take the full 21.
Oops. Cure them of their status condition. That way I'm doing one thing at a time here. Okay. So this one was a fail. So that's going to be 21 there. Then we come over and we have... there. Oh wait, that one was half. That was number 2. So... Then number 3 failed and is going to take 21. Then 4 and 5 each save here. However, you notice that this one. This one being sort of like directly exposed under this beam of sunlight. Not that there's not in the morning, but you're just like super harshly getting to it here. This one sort of writhes and is thrashing a lot more violently than the rest. Okay. So those are the saves and the damages.
Yes.
And anything else from you, Celine?
Nope, that's action and bonus action.
Okay. Now it's the folks who are set adrift. It's their turn. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one just pulls itself onto the firm sand. This one is coming up. This is an officer, as it has the pink dot next to it. 1, 2.
The pink is always the most important member of the group.
See? Bright nose. This one is swimming up. And so, Jacob, you're holding the other one under the water. I had to take the dash action. So it's going to pop up and like the other one, it's going to... and it has distorted teeth in its mouth. However, it's not going to actually get to attack you. This one is going to get to move up onto Mordecai here. And is going to... in its withered state here, it is going to try and make a... let's see... 17 hits you?
Yes.
Okay.
Dang, +6.
All right. So this one's going to come up, and this one is also showing some signs of clearly rabies and nothing else. And it's going to try to savage you here. And this is going to be /R2d4 plus a number. So it's going to come up and 8 points of slashing damage as sharp fingers are raking over you. And then as it kind of like grabs you, like it's coming up out of the sea, it reaches and kind of pulls itself up, cutting your flesh. And as it does, it lunges up for your neck. And it wasn't a crit; it was a 19. But these things sure are trying. They're really trying. And this is going to be a. Yeah. Whoops. Whoops. All right, 9 points of piercing damage.
All right.
And no other effect that you need to worry about, Mordecai. But I will say for a moment, as this thing, like, and it pulls back, and there's just a look on its face that is confusion. And we have some other things that are swimming along here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3. Oh wait. Oh man, he's really caught. Having to take the long way around here, so you're stalling for time for at least that one. Okay, and so now we come back up to Jacob. Jacob, you have this thing grappled.
Sorry, can I make
oh.
a reaction?
Sure.
I want to hellish rebuke the one that bit me.
Ah, do it. Dex save. Very good.
I just hissed at it.
Okay, that is going to pass, and half as much. So still give me that half damage.
Yep, 7.
7 it is. Okay. So yeah, it bites, and then just flame just sort of spits out of the wound, or from your fingers or tail or whatever you'd like. You spit in hot fire. Now, I'm sorry, we're over to Jacob. Jacob, there's a fiery eruption off to your side here. Another couple of these things are coming up and are showing themselves to be biters. How are you handling this?
Well, first we need to end up detaining the first one if we have any chance on going after the others.
Okay.
So, it's at this point I will, now that I've managed to apprehend, now it is attempt to end up seeing if I can force the manacles upon it.
Sure. You know what? I haven't gotten to play with manacles in a minute here. Let me go to chapter 5 real quick and see what it says.
I keep 3 sets.
All right, these metal restraints can bind a small or medium creature. Escaping them requires successful DC 20, breaking them a 20 strength. Each set of manacles produced with 1 key. So it can be picked. All right, so really, it doesn't say anything about applying them, but you have this creature. You're also in this sort of in this wave splashy zone here. You are a policeman by trade, so I'll tell you what. Don't roll a 1, but give me a d20 roll. I know I'm saying this to you, Derek, but okay, that's not a 1. That's a 12. There's a 1 in it, but all right. So you, as an action, you have her sort of like bent and kind of placed in the waves, and they're crashing all around. And you take the manacles and click, and you have her manacled. Her arms are behind her back, manacled at the wrists.
That should make this particularly difficult. And what I end up and now that I end up having that, and I believe I also have a bonus action at this point. Let me double check here. So that's manacled, and it's at this point I am going to purposely step this way, still keeping hold, but
Okay.
at this point, this was the one that attacked Mordecai, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Very well then. I am going to resort to there's so many options I can do, but I'm going to need to hold off. That's my action. I will hold. I don't have a bonus action I can do at this point, so I've moved, I've acted, and now I am going. Oh, I can use a bonus action. I am going to draw a hand axe as my. Is I've dropped my warhammer, so I'm going to end up here. I'm going to end up grabbing hold of my hand axe and prepare to end up engaging the next one, trying to keep Mordecai safe at this point.
Okay. Then we're down to Bright.
Ooh, okay, so, which is the one I shot? Was it this one? Lost track of it when they moved.
It was the non-commander one, or the non-sailor one, like that, or it's a sailor. It's not a uniformed one, I should say.
Okay, so and cast At level 5, get this one, and I'm also going to target this one.
Okay. So this is a charisma saving throw. We'll do non-uniformed first.
Oh, they should both be uniformed. I
Well,
targeted...
the first number is for the non-uniformed. The second number is for the uniformed. Okay, so the first one is going to save.
I targeted the 2 uniformed ones.
Oh, wait.
So,
Oh,
I don't
is it-
understand what you're talking about.
Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking it was a like a little area of effect.
2
Like
targets.
yeah. Okay, never mind. So then the first is the first uniform. The second is the second uniformed. Got it. All right. So the first one is going to save. And the second one is going to writhe in the what does your banishment look like again?
I mean, it doesn't really look like anything. It's just kind of they poof and they disappear.
Okay. So with a material component, an item distasteful to the target. What would be distasteful to them? You make a funny face at him. Or
I mean,
something?
I have Mordecai. He seems pretty distasteful to them.
Mordecai, the material component. All right, so you with a shout and a flexing of your arcane might, you look at the 2 members of the Shadowheart Navy, and the first one maybe a wave got in the way, or some water in the eyes, or something interfered. However, this one down here is seized up and has what at first looks like maybe black smoke pouring off of it. Although it's much too straight and like silky and wavy, as it seems to like flee and disappear into the air, and then this body now just splooshes into the water and moves no more.
Like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take... how much effort is it to climb up these dunes?
It would just be
thing or
difficult
climbing?
terrain to do.
Okay, so I want to climb up this dune as far as I can, so I guess that would be 1, and that would count double?
Yeah. Okay.
You have the high ground, you can't win.
That's true. Bright is now the tallest one on the battlefield here. All right. Anything else from you, Bright?
Nope, that's all. I want to clarify though that I still have the Mana War banished. It's just dissolve. It just looked like it dissolved, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Question mark? All right. Mordecai.
Right, so, well, what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to throw out. What am I doing? I'm gonna throw out another bait. But this time I'm gonna do it at a 3rd level. So I'm gonna have 6 targets total. And the 6 closest to me.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the green. All right, so it's everyone but the back line here. And real quick, because it's a concentration spell, Bright, there would not. There's not a target to continue to concentrate on. It just seemingly evaporated.
Okay. Well, that's what I was asking you.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I went back to make sure I was presenting it correctly. It does not seem to exist any longer.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
The body, there is a body floating. I deleted it off to keep clutter out of our heads-up display here. There's a body, but there's something that, like, just fled. And
Okay.
Okay.
That makes... I'm happy to understand that.
All right. So the 6 closest are going to be Baned / roll 60, 20, and we're just going to go top to bottom. And I am looking for a
DC 16.
A 16. Fail, pass, fail. All right, this is going to be kind of easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Where's a good Bane?
1, 2, 3.
Things work a lot better now that Jacob's here.
Is your first or your 6? Are you going for the top and then 6 and then 5 others down, or do you want to end with the one down here?
I'll go with the top guy.
Okay. So we have, let's see, we did the kind of weird skull thing. 1. This guy is super baned. 2. That one is fine. This one is 3. 4. And I already put the skull in. Wait, 1, 2, 3. That was a skip. 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah. So that's the 6. It just passed over one of them here next to Jacob. Okay. Anything else for you, Mordecai?
I've already inspired Jacob. He still has it, so I'm gonna inspire Celine. I take out my pan flute and start playing a little song.
Okie dokie, I'll take that.
Okay. Status effects. People hate using their turn to cast them, but everyone else loves it when people use their turn to cast them. It's kind of like in Pokemon. You're like, I don't want to use status effects, but I gotta. All right, so Casimir, we're over to you. What are you doing here?
I would like to switch to Battle Axe because it's much easier.
Okay.
I'm going to go up here.
Drop the bow, charge up.
I'm going to...
That hits.
Surplus.
Give me some damage. Oof.
I need to set that to do damage automatically.
Okay. Are you going for, are you subduing or are you taking the head?
Yeah, head.
Alright, you're going for the head, you said?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you said yeah, and I was just sitting there like, so?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No. All right, so taking the head, sure. So you come up and just with I mean just with well, it'd be a little weird to describe. Well, to us as players, with the sound of someone ripping a wet phone book in half, just this head rips off and falls back into the waves, and this sailor is no more.
Would they be able to use extra attack on different targets?
If you have movement.
If I stand here, am I able to attack? Because it's water, and I do not have water.
Yeah, you can. It's just difficult terrain, so you'd need 10 feet.
Yeah, I can do that. All right.
All right,
I
so you
will
come up,
also
whirl,
attack this one.
carry the momentum, and go ahead. Oof. All right, so Casimir, you end up decapitating the one, and you just use the momentum to almost like skip like a stone on top of a wave and come down, and you take a slice. You take a slice out of this one for 5 damage.
Is it still up?
Yes.
I am going to use my bonus action to push it back 10 feet, or 5 feet.
Okay.
You didn't have your shield equipped.
Did I not?
You
No,
had
you
your
had
bow and
your bow.
arrow, but you have an item
Okay,
interaction, so you would have dropped your bow. Item interaction to draw and
That's fine.
Equipping a shield is a normal action. It's a standard action.
That's fine then. I won't do that.
but in your mind you did it. So your hunter's instincts are prepared.
I just kind of backhanded him as well.
Yeah, you make the motion, you realize, oh, I don't have shield. So it's just Casimir goes to try and check someone. Okay. Anything else, Casimir?
No, I'm good then.
Okay. Then it's my little jelly boy's turn here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, this one, Bright, is like the tentacles are just kind of creeping over the top of this sand tier, and just like this blobbing head is just cresting over the side. And this one is continuing to slither over the sands.
Got him right where I want him.
And do I have any more jelly boys here? Yes, I do. All right. This one's gonna come over, and Mordecai, I'm going to try and do the same thing to you again.
Bane.
So no default to the attack roll.
Okay, yeah, sure.
As much as that matters.
So in this case, we can say that a wave, like it was like maneuvering around, and right as it went to go, like get its tendrils all wrapped around you, a wave is just coming in from an angle and just and baps it away from you. As the thing is kind of, because as it lunged, it made itself a lot more vulnerable to being hit by a big old wave, and it just it sort of flubbed backwards with a little kersploosh. Okay, so then we're gonna come down to Celine.
Yes. So, I need to think of what I'm gonna do. Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. The angel is gonna stop raining hell from above.
Okay. Oh,
No
raining
action
hell.
required by me to do that. Let me just change this. Give me the selection of the object, please. It doesn't want to select the thing for me. So if you could remove that circle for me, that would be nice.
Bip. There you go.
Thank you.
I'm a professional.
And it's gonna float further out as my action. It's gonna float further out, and I am going to cast, using a 4th level spell slot, Control Water,
Oof.
naming Whirlpool.
All right. A tidal wave of text assaults the dungeon master.
And I need to draw a shape.
This effect requires a body of water at least 50 feet square and 25 feet deep. I can give you the 25 feet if you're casting it. Like here is going to be too close. But if you're...
no, it's because it's centered on a point. It's centered on a 5-foot point. I'm casting it out towards the sea. You'll see why in a moment as I draw the square for it.
And like 100 feet out? Or...
And it's not 100 feet out. It's I can affect a 100 foot cube of water, like area of water, with any of these
how
effects.
far is it going to be on the map? That's the question.
Yes, it is going to be on the map. Let me just draw the cube first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So this will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 5, 6. Let's go alt. Up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this is the cube. That's the entire cube.
Okay.
And for the whirlpool. And I am going to be putting it. Well, if it wants to select for me, because for some reason it doesn't want to select shapes for me. Could you move it so? Actually, give me a second.
Oh, okay.
I just need to check something. Yeah. Could you move it 10 feet towards the shore? Perfect. Thank you. So anybody within 25 feet of it, which will be 25 feet of the edge, which will be this guy here, though, these two here, not Jacob, thankfully. Not that guy, and I will check the last one. Nah, he's too far away by 5 feet. They are going to get moved 10 feet towards the vortex. And in the case of the guy sitting right next to it, he's going to get pulled into the vortex.
Okay. All right. So this this vortex is forming. You're seeing towards the edge. You're seeing the bottom, like the sand and like some rocks and stuff. There's a bunch of really confused fish going, being swirled around in here too. As the ocean just goes bonkers for him. Anything else, Celine?
Yes. This guy here is going to need to make a strength save. And these two here are going to get pulled 10 feet towards it.
Okay.
There's no save for that one. And if they want to move away from it, they will need to make athletics checks against.
Quick question: is right there 25 feet deep?
Probably not right here, not on the super edge, but it is getting to be. I'd say it's 25 feet, a little closer to the middle, but there's enough of it that's beating the 25 feet that I'm letting it go off. So, okay. Now that said, because there's not as much water here. There I might modify the roll slightly because there's not as much volume to suck them away or something like that because of it's slightly more shallow on the end. But we'll see what happens here. All right, so I need to make these saves on its manifestation. Cause a whirlpool. Creature object in the water and within 25 feet of the vortex. Yep. Okay. Okay, so it forms and...
The pull just happens. This guy gets stuck in and needs to make a strength save against the damage.
Okay.
He's gonna take, he takes half and isn't caught.
And what was the damage on that?
It's 2d8 bludgeoning, magical bludgeoning, obviously. So it'll be 4 points of damage.
Okay. Okay, so this thing forms, and this person who's been kind of like doggy paddling and is the sailor. It's kind of lost. Guys, wait up. He's not actually saying that, but is just trying and just can't keep its head through its weak paddles, and yet somehow it's managing as it's like riding waves and such from getting slurped into this thing. All right, and so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. Actually, I'm gonna need to do two more. So first roll's top, second roll's bottom. / roll 2d20. That is a save and a fail. And so that was 4 damage.
If they fail, it'll be 9.
And-
Those two though don't need to worry about it. They're just getting sucked towards it 10 feet. They don't actually have to worry about damage at the moment.
Oh, they don't worry about damage.
Yeah, they don't worry about damage. They just get moved towards it, and that's all that happens to those two.
Okay. Jacob, go ahead and make an athletics, because if you want to, this vortex or whatever is opening up, and it's pulling at the woman you have in manacles, but you're also hanging on to her. So it's a tug of war, Jacob versus nature, and who's gonna win?
Man, terrible rolls.
All right. All right. So she's still manacled.
Well, you have a inspiration if you want to think, because it'll be against my spell save.
Yeah, but you got to call that.
I'm saving that for when I need it.
So she, like, the water is whipping around, and your wet hand and the wet chain kind of, and she slips, and she's starting to get sucked towards the whirlpool here. Okay. Anything else?
I will just make one other cube, which will denote the total area that I will have control water in, because it's a 100-foot cube for the other effects as well, which I can.
Okay, then if you're making a cube, I'm gonna take enemy turns, but there's nothing else
Yeah.
for Celine except map making.
Oh, she's gonna, as a bonus action, she's gonna make a swing with her spiritual weapon at the green one.
Oh, sure. Okay.
That's gonna be a 23.
All right, Mordecai, you are covered in more seafood spaghetti.
Do I need to roll damage?
No.
Nope. Alright.
Nope.
Alright, well, I will then proceed to draw this cube. It is a very large cube, I will say.
All right. Then, while you are flexing your geometry here, I'm gonna do some things.
20. 30.
And we have one that is on Casimir and is baned. And so this is
70. 80.
Casimir does a 17 hit you.
Minus D4.
Oh, derp.
2.
And by that I clearly mean
8.
It does not, anyways.
oh, well then.
19.
Hashtag humble brag over here. All right.
With or without your shield? You don't have your shield equipped.
Shit. It would hit me.
Well, but then there's also -3, so
Yeah.
then it goes back to not hitting.
All right, so
You did such a good job convincing it you had a shield. You missed.
we're just
Yeah,
altering
sure.
reality here.
6, 8, 10.
The power of our minds, everyone. All right, so we have this this splashing combat happening here. Though this thing is going to do a dance around, and is going to end up on being on land behind you. But it's not leaving a threatened square. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, at the start of its turn, does this thing have to resist the water? Lethality?
At the start of its turn, I will check that for you
Okay.
right now. This is the first time I've actually
Then I'm going to take actions that I may not have to. It's only the one. Here.
So to move, it'll need to make an athletics check against DC 16. And it was not caught in the vortex, so it doesn't need to make a check. But
Okay.
if it starts its turn in the vortex area, then yes.
But it's free to move normally.
It'll need to make an athletics check to try
Okay.
and swim away.
Same with these two.
Yes, with those two as well.
I'm going to roll 3d20 and we're just going to resolve top to bottom.
Yep.
Oh, that's a 1. All right, so he's just stuck, paddling water. And then the other two are definitely going to be able to move here.
They have
Banned
like
one.
What's that?
The last one's banned.
Yes, lots of money is
Oh,
paid.
that's...
It is,
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
yeah.
1d4. This is why I keep you around, Coffee Cat, so you mess with my monsters. All right, so it is actually not going to be able to move here, but so the other one is free. 1, 2. Does it want to move up onto Jacob Mordecai? Or does it want to? 1, 2. It can get to Jacob by swimming and in difficult terrain. So it's going to do that. And the other 2 are doggy paddling. And then I have one rolling up on Celine. And then I have one that was already on Jacob here. So I am going to... I'm going to roll some attacks versus Jacob.
Okay.
The first one that just rolled up on you, that's to your north.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this one is just kind of like slam you.
No.
Oh. Okay.
So you know
Shield.
how this works.
What is the modified number for that? Yeah.
That immediately brings it up to a
No, I meant for the
23.
Well, a 23 will actually not be able to block this.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I was
Now you can still use it because there's going to be one other attack coming in at you.
I was waiting on a reaction to hit, but apparently I don't have the AC to end up preventing it, so...
Okay.
Oh well.
All right.
Roll your hit.
And it's started next turn, so you'll have it against any subsequent hits as well, so...
Nah.
All right, so this person slams you for 6 bludgeoning damage. Just like a good old... Clearly looks withered and disfigured, but this one's not trying to bite you. However, the one to the south of you is. And this one's actually going to try and is going to try and now that they're free, the jellyfish here, it's going to try and grab, and then it'll try doing a bite on you. So first is the grab, second's the bite. And all right, so what in a moment's notice, like as the one lunges, or we simultaneously they're lunging, this black hair spawns from you, or how does this work?
At this point, it seems to manifest between armor, grip, gauntlet. It seems to come out of absolutely nowhere and just immediately start to grip, throw aside attacks, get in the way. It's like trying to fight in a spider's web.
As that happens, Jacob, you hear a distant voice, a familiar voice, simply say "good." And anything else that you want to react to before I continue and assault Celine? No? Okay.
You're trying to assault Celine? Nope, not much I can do to that.
Okay. So this person is waterlogged, is trudging along, still seems really like drained and disfigured from being possessed by this man-o-war, and is going to does an 18 hit you?
cutting words.
And by an 18, I totally mean
It will immediately not.
a 16. Okay.
Immediately will not.
Mordecai, what do you shout to distract this thing?
If you want to touch her, you have to go through me.
It gurgles. Some water bubbles up from its lips.
Distractifying.
All right, so the other ones are just sort of flailing, and the 2 that are approaching Bright do so on their own initiative, since they still have people inside them. All right, now we're back up to Jacob. Jacob, what are you doing?
Well, he's going to make an This is the one that's injured, correct? The one on south?
They're both injured, but the one to your south is more injured.
Alright, that's where my first attack's gonna end up going.
Sure. Ooh, yeah, alright. The hand axe savagely finds this wet flesh and it just splits open, almost at the merest touch of your blade. 8 slashing. Okay.
Is it down?
No. Let me double check. Yes, you hit. Okay. And you strike once more where your blade first met, and this thing just kind of like splits and peels before falling backwards into the water, and it starts. It just looks really, really bad inside, but it's also good.
Alright. At this point, I am going to take a 5-foot step on an ankle.
Yep.
And I'm going to end up drawing attention to that. Get to Bright.
To Mordecai, you're saying that?
Yeah.
Okay.
To anybody who's willing to listen.
Oh.
Focus on getting to Bright. I'll hold them off as long as I can.
Bright, get to yourself.
I mean, I'm already here, but thanks for the advice. But yeah, I'm gonna be okay. I'm harder to hit than I look. Okay, so if I were to be here, hypothetically, would I be able to have advantage because of having the high ground if I did a melee attack against this one?
I will say yes because it was only just starting to climb up in crest. So
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. I'd give you advantage on that.
Okay, so I'll go here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I will cast Shocking Grasp.
Okay.
18.
That you certainly grasp it shockingly. And so as you do so,
Maximum damage.
yeah, you approach and just and
I have the high ground. You can't win.
So yeah, you just melt this jellyfish off of the body that was that it was riding, and the body's still kind of there in this not rancid per se, but this very decrepit state. It's still clinging on, but there is like you just see a face look up at you with almost milky eyes opening up,
Okay.
and you did pretty well there. And as it does, like it opens its mouth and you see 2 fangs. Right
Yeah,
here.
silly fangs. I'm familiar with those. Okay, so I'll kick a little bit of dirt on it, and then I'm gonna go over here. That's 2-3 steps. Cast Misty Step.
Oh, okay.
I'll go here with my Misty Step.
Okay. So you are now in cover as you are in tall seagrass.
Okay. And then I'll just, I have 2 more steps, so I'll just go all the way to the edge of the map here.
Okay. All right. So you disappear into the tall grass like a raptor. All right. So that is Bright's turn. We now go over to Mordecai. Mordecai, Jacob told you to go check on Bright, but it seems to be too late. She's gone. There are remnants of like this smoking, kind of quivering jellyfish that kind of tumbled down to the bottom of the sand dune.
Yeah. I know she can handle herself pretty well, but I'm still gonna shoot that thing with a guiding bolt.
Pew. Are you going for the jellyfish or the remnant that was inside the one?
This one.
Okay, got it.
Guiding bolt.
Yeah, you hit. That's a 22.
Alright, let's do some damage. I'm gonna do this little one. That's fine.
Okay.
That is 14 radiant damage, if that makes any difference.
All right, so this energy courses out from you and slams into this one, making it sparkle and kind of light up. Okay. Anything else from you, Mordecai?
No, because I am all out of inspiration. Good.
Okay. Casimir, is your turn.
Does it take action to equip shield? Or...
Yes.
Okay. I will not worry about it then. I will just attack.
That is hit.
That's good. 6 damage.
You taking a head for this one too?
Yes.
Schlock.
Does need it?
Another wet phone book torn in half.
Alright, it's gone. I shall move them. Get over here.
Okay.
Closely. They will attack this one.
What are you doing here? Ooh, almost a crit. It would have been in another dimension. Still, 18 is respectable damage.
Also, has
You
this
only-
one been hit
It's
before?
only the 7. The 11's for the crit.
Oh, gotcha. Well, all right. This one has not been hit before, no.
Okay. Just need to know that. Yeah, that is it then.
Okay. As you hit this one, do you have any particular? You have some skill in hunting undead, yes?
Mm-hmm.
As you strike this one, you see that the way that it reacts to your hit is that of how those who blaspheme and raise the dead back to life, well, not life, but unlife, is reacting. And so if you have any particular goodies, I suppose, that you can employ on an attack, you're welcome to do so.
I don't think on this one. Maybe next time.
Okay.
Next time.
All right. Enemy's been
wait,
revealed.
Actually,
What's that?
let's do the damage.
Oh, all right. Noted.
That makes difference.
Okay. Anything else then, Casimir?
No, that is actually.
All right. So I have one little gribbler left, and it, from being on the bottom of the sand dune, it wouldn't have been able to see bright when she pulled back to the middle and then bamfed out of there. So it's going to continue to. It's going to get up to the top and see that there's nothing here but a person, and it is then going to. Go this way. Okay. It is Celine's turn. So what is Celine doing?
So that vortex is going to be maintained.
Okay.
As a bonus action, the spiritual weapon's gonna come here and make an attack
Okay.
against the creature. That is that
Go ahead and bonk.
spiritual weapon.
Hits.
Roll damage.
Demo.
And it'll be 11 force damage.
Got it.
Which is actually really good.
All right, so the spectral scythe comes over and slices at the person, cutting through wet sailor's clothes. And undead flesh.
Yes. And then I am going to, as an action, attack him
Okay.
with an actual melee weapon.
Bonk.
Sunblade to the face.
Okay. That is definitely going to hit. And the damage?
It is undead, yes?
Yes, it is.
Good. So it will be 11. I've got some more damage to do.
Well, then here, you describe the death blow. So Casimir runs up, strikes it. You whip around. The sunblade comes out, and
I just cleave it straight in two with a burst of light.
well, there you go, Casimir.
Nice job.
And for this guy and this guy, can they make athletics checks, please?
Well, do they do it at the start of their turn?
It'll be the pull is on my turn.
But the movement is on theirs. Okay.
Yeah. The pull is on my turn. The trying to move away is on theirs, and the damage is if they actually enter into that cube area, the smaller one, or if they start their turn in the cube.
All right. Then first is the top, second is the bottom and manacles.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like neither of them are going to pass.
Yeah. So they will get pulled 10 feet towards the cube.
Okay.
Into the cube, and then the one that entered the cube will need to make a strength save, and only that one.
And that one was a 15. No, I need a 16.
Yes, she did 60, so
Okay.
that'll fail, and it'll take 2d8, which is 40 damage. I'll take that.
Okay.
That's
So this one, some of the debris is starting, especially because this thing's been swirling. Some of the debris is now starting to enter into the swirl, and as this thing is finally it's been treading water, and it finally gets sucked in. And just in this moment, you see it dip under, and it comes back up victoriously, and it looks over as a crate just smashes it. And then bloop, 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 bloop. The hand sinks down as it starts a slow swirl around the bowl. Okay. Anything else?
nope, that's all.
Okay. It is now the freed little squiggle's turn here. We're going to see if the one can kick away from the vortex. Roll 1d20. And cannot do so, so it's stuck there.
Yep.
And then I have one on Jacob. And then I have two that are just sort of twiddling around. Well, I have one that's twiddling around because the other one is possessed. All right, so the one that is trying to body slam or bash Jacob here is not going to do so. So you managed to just block that clumsy, you have a brute. I mean, this is a sailor, so definitely is trying to clock, but maybe it's just the decrepit state or something. But you managed to expertly block that slug. And then the other one here is just gonna disappointedly let go of the sand dune and kind of slide down. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is going to just roll up onto. It'll take a dash action, and it's going to roll up onto Casimir and Celine, and present itself in a menacing fashion. This one for sure is. I mean, it just. And you see the pointed teeth, Casimir and Celine. However, it can't do anything else except snarl and smolder with generic rage. So we're gonna come back to. This is.
Jacob.
Okay, Yep, we're going to come back to Jakob. You're at the top of the initiative, and you have someone trying to duke it out with you, do a little boxing in the water.
Unfortunately, I do not have time for this. So let's try and finish this quickly.
Okay. 2 whacks with a hand axe, and they certainly find purchase in soft, mushy flesh. So that's going to be 11 and 10, so 21. All right. So you put 2 gashes into this thing, and it is like some bubbles are coming from the mouth. The person's alive, but I don't know. It looks really weird. It looks in a weird state. But yeah, you deal some pretty heavy damage, but it's still there. Hanging on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Mordecai goes next, or in the initiative before it does, correct?
Correct. Bright, Mordecai, Casimir, then... I mean, it's actually going last in initiative, so everyone goes before it does again.
It's at this point, Stillwaters will give Mordecai a look like, you got this, right? Fantastic. And at this point, he is going to end up using... Where is it?
Yeah.
That's bonus step. And I'm going to purposely end up grabbing hold of my suspect.
Okay. When you use Misty Step, can you describe the spell effect?
So, Jacob looks like he was about to end up starting to walk around. Like he was trying to get past this thing to end up getting towards the suspect. However, as Jacob takes his first step, it almost appears like he's falling. Even he has this look of shock. He doesn't realize what's happening, as he kind of just falls, and the same hair that just kind of seemed to sprout out of nowhere just elevates out of the water and just kind of swallows him for a second, like just gone. And at that same point, further off in the water, you see this almost like a black ink, and it turns out to be that black hair, and he just kind of gets vomited out from it. He's in a moment of confusion where he's not 100% sure what the hell just happened, and sees the suspect, and he realizes, okay, if that's how it's going to be, I'm going to use action surge at this point. So, and I still haven't used my movement yet.
All right.
So I am going to...
As you're swirling the bowl, you're going to have to make an athletics, though.
You are going to have to make an athletics to move away.
16.
You make it.
You got it.
I'm going to use my action to grab hold of this individual, probably by the hair or something.
Sure.
Whatever I can grab. And we are going to... So I'm going to end up grabbing hold of it, and I'm pretty sure this thing doesn't want me to end up, or wants me to save it from the whirlpool at this point, so it's probably going to help at that point, if it has any sense of self-preservation. Do you want me to roll in athletics?
Oh, shoot, yeah, hang on. Well, you know, Casimir brought up, or Darkwolf brought up a good point, because you do have Water Walk.
Yes, you guys do still have water walk. Oh, so then yeah, no, you don't need the athletics to do the thing, because technically speaking, you're not in the water to be pulled in.
Well, so I'd say because he's trying to recover someone who is immersed and being pulled in, that an athletics would still be needed to pry the person up. However, since you're floating on top of the water, since that's now moving, churning water, I will count that as difficult terrain for purposes of movement. But we'll say that you pulled the person up, and you're sort of like fireman carrying them or something. And so you can move, but you're moving it's as if difficult terrain because the water's being so choppy and swirling under your feet. I think that's a good middle ground.
and I am going to drag it over here with
Okay.
my movement, and that's my 15-foot movement.
There you go.
Also, Derek,
Yep.
action surge recharges on a short rest.
Yep.
All right.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why action surge is so good. It's like, once per short rest, I get an action.
We now go over to Bright, who is hiding in the tall grass here. What are you doing, Bright?
Okay, so I'm gonna come select the right tool, and then I'm gonna come here. Is this close enough to see out of the grass?
Yeah. We'll say that your nose is just kind of like peeking through the edge here.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Okay.
Okay, there goes my inspiration. It's gone now. And then I'm looking, and I see all the way out to Mordecai. There's that vampire, and I'm lining up my shot just so.
Is that advantage since they don't see it coming?
Well, I'm using my inspiration.
Yeah.
So, however, I mean, I guess.
Okay, and you're tagging the one on Mordecai?
That one.
All right. Sure, 15 hits.
Oh, well, it's an 18.
And by that I mean an 18 hits also. You're just a little bit more hitty.
9 damage.
Okay. So Casimir and Celine, a firebolt just kind of from nowhere streaks over your heads and blasts into this creature thing, and where there's these two big gashes made. Just it impacts and just things bubble and sear, and it makes a bunch of gross noises and falls over into the surf.
Mordecai just looks over.
And
Spontaneous
then I
combustion
go-
in the ocean. Okay, and you're
That's all. I'm done.
okay. You might be able to scoot back. You might be able to scoot back 5 because you're going through the grass and that's difficult terrain. It's because you have to move what? Oh no, two forward was 10. Never mind. I was double
It's
counting.
difficult terrain.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was difficult terrain. Then in that case, I couldn't have moved as far back as I did last turn either. So
Well-
I would have only. Hey, I'm here.
Okay.
That's a good compromise.
That's fine. We'll play it where it stood.
It doesn't matter very much anyway.
Okay. All right. So our raptor retreats back into the tall grass to pick off another weakling. Mordecai, we're over to you. You had someone spontaneously combust in the middle of the ocean. What are you doing?
So, what's his face? Jacob has apprehended that one, right?
Yeah, Jacob is hauling this person above the swirling waves and is walking back towards the shore.
And I'm gonna move right here, and I'm gonna guiding bolt this one.
Okay. Hits.
Just level 1. 15 radiant damage.
Okay.
Melt its face off.
It already kind of beat you there, but you certainly don't make it look any better. And this thing is just the radiant damage hits it and making bubbly, gurgly noises, just really gross, watery sounds. Casimir and Celine, and it's there, like kind of wobbling on its last leg. Mordecai, anything else?
No. I'm good.
Okay. That would mean that it is Casimir's turn.
He's going to
Cutting, huh?
you, but he's right here, so I will cut.
Oof. Casimir is a certain dominance. All right, describe your critical hit, Casimir.
Just straight down skull. 2 matching
You
hands.
just want to stop at the skull?
Yes.
Okay, that's good self-control. All right, Celine.
Damage?
Casimir just flexes and
Actually 20.
Well, Well, no, because 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 2 is 18.
And this
Oh,
thing
yeah.
just
I thought you just kind of. Yep.
the wet flesh sunders and it falls over. Casimir, is there anything else that you want to do?
Yes, actually. I can move. We'll go here.
Okay.
Time 35. And I will hit this guy too.
Casimir, not content, dashes over. Are you telling anything to Celine before you take off?
No.
Okay. Casimir just dashes off, a little bit of a sand cloud, comes forward, whirls around with the battle axe, and just wrecks the gelatinous cover that is coating the person who's now free but looks really, really kind of garbled and nasty. Okay. Casimir, is that your turn?
Yes, it is turn. Don't have shield yet, so I don't have bonus action yet.
All right. So now we go over to my sea creature's turn. And
Give me just a second, because I need to just check something really quickly, because this will actually affect what you might do.
okay.
Yep, so I'm going to end concentration on the control water. So no athletics check required.
Okay. Is ending concentration anytime, or do you have to do that on your turn?
Anytime, no action required.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so you just the
That's why I
whirl
was checking.
the whirlpool is like mechanically it's stopped, but you know the water's still kind of churning and sloshing and
It fills back in over the course of the next round.
okay. So things are things are happening here, and I
There
need
we go. This cube can go away,
actually while we're here.
because mechanically they don't do anything anymore.
I need a thingamabobber. Give me 1 second to get a thingamabobber. There we go. While I'm out of jellyfish. Let's see. Oh, you know what, Mordecai? You have an awesome passive perception, which means you get to see all the cruel and mind-bending stuff first. And blooping up from the waves appears to be a piece of wreckage. Maybe one though that's older, because it seems to be covered in maybe like seaweed, like really dark seaweed. And as that happens here, a large creature with like black hair kind of coming down really wet looking rises for like partially like bobs up to the surface, and it has several you know what, roll a nature. Okay. Normally there's creatures that live in the sea that are called sea anemones, and they're like little tendrily things that kind of cling to rocks. This looks like a detached, very large sea anemone, and it has a mouth. And enemies aren't supposed to eat people. It's kind of the other way around, depending on the place you go for the delicacy. It has a mouth, and it also it closes one great central eye that is in the middle of its clearly sea anemone stalks, and some smaller ones are beginning to like do a little swirl. And
Oh boy.
one moment here, loading content. And there we go.
Next version, they'll try to speed up the loading experience.
Okay, so that's... so as it bobs to the surface, three things are going to happen, and I'm going to target Casimir, Mordecai, and Jacob in the order in which I roll these d10s.
Uh-oh.
All right, so Casimir, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Don't have my shield. That's it.
All right. Casimir, you are beginning to turn to sea salt. Like, your body is mineralizing. And,
Uh-oh.
maybe you can shake it off, but you're going to have to repeat a saving throw here, as you're under some kind of a sea curse. Next up, we have Mordecai. And Mordecai, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please. Actually,
Oh, lovely.
no, never mind. Nothing happens, Mordecai. A magical effect of some kind, like, kind of washes over you, and you feel this really weird feeling, and then you're fine. And then lastly, we have Jacob. And Jacob, Jacob, can you make a strength saving throw, please?
We're still inspired.
All right. Okay, like, the waters were calming, but for a moment, you felt maybe like the draw of the water under your feet or something, but you're able to keep your footing or something. Something weird was happening, as this
situation
creature.
is strange.
Welcome to daily life.
Okay. Now we come to Celine. Celine, this detached, weird, like, black-haired sea anemone rises up from the deeps here, and is now at least it looks like it should fit within. I don't want it to be huge size. What is it to place something not fixed on a grid? Alt?
You can resize it. Just drag the corners.
Well, yeah, but it places. I want it. It has to be 3 squares to fit into 2 squares, if that makes sense. So that
You're talking visually?
Yeah, so it's the size I need it, but I need it to not snap to a grid.
I believe it is alt.
It's alt.
There we go. So it's a large creature. It's taking up those 4 squares. Also, hey, we've been raided. Thank you very much for visiting us, Fiora the Tank Girl. If that's any relation to the comic Tank Girl, then you have a good taste. Then, welcome. Random act of kindness. Well, yeah. Hey, here, I will spam some kind emotes as well. Thank you for raiding us. What were you up to? And Celine, we're back to you.
Yes. Need to do something about that thing.
It is. It's partially submerged and floating in the water.
Okay.
Ah, Pathfinder. I really hope you enjoyed it.
My response to it, how it actually was. And I need to check some range real quick. Give me a second. Damn it. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna do some moving first. I will move to here. And then I've got that one. I will move my last little bit to here. Just stand in the shallows. And it's now just in range. Yes, I did have 10 feet to move in now. Goodbye! Not dealing with that! No! DC 16, charisma saving throw. spiritual weapon will move to here. There's a bonus attack. It beats a 16. What's my life? Spell.
Oh, you're muted again.
Whoops. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. It is banished, is what I was saying.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no, spiritual weapon is gonna move the 20 feet up. Where is it?
1, 2, 3, there.
Yeah, to there. And that'll be my turn.
Okay. Casimir, the person that is next to you is going to try and bash you. And we're moving on to the one who is trying to flail against Jacob here. And is going to try and savage him despite her state. Though she's in not a very good position to do so.
She's restrained, right? So that would be disadvantage.
I am rolling at disadvantage. Okay, and a 14 doesn't affect you, Jacob. So this thing is gnashing and and bubbles are pouring out of its mouth. But it does you no harm. Now we come to Jacob.
Yes, well, it's at this point, Jacob is going to make it a point of handling this thing now by its throat. And trying to end up dragging this thing here. He's getting a little bit closer, more specifically to end up keeping it himself between this thing that just suddenly appeared and the other individuals. Now, if I recall, I'm still moving at difficult, correct? 13 up here, and I'm going to move this thing here so it doesn't have a chance to attack Mordecai at this point. And when he's looking at this thing that is currently crawling up, well, so at this point, Jacob will end up using his action specifically to end up speaking to his current captor. And the message is fairly simple. Continue to struggle, and I have no reason to end up taking you into custody because you are currently resisting arrest and putting the lives of everyone in the near vicinity in danger. If you have any interest in continue to live or unlive, whatever the case may be, it is not in your benefit to continue thrashing about, especially once you end up finally allowing yourself a moment to end up getting out. Or, he kind of ends up gesturing towards the thing. We could just end up throwing you back in and, well, let the fates decide. Assign intimidation, that is a persuasion. Not a strong point, but we're gonna run with it. I'll take it.
Okay, so you're giving it reasons to want to cooperate in a forceful manner, but you're still giving it reasons without you give those reasons being bullet pointed by punches for every point.
I have no interest in striking the thing down at this point.
Okay. We shall see how it responds then. Bright, we're over... Oh, I'm sorry, unless there's anything else, Jacob, then we're on Bright.
No, I have nothing else I want to end up doing. At this point, it's mostly positioning.
Okay, so Bright, what are you doing here?
Okay, so Now I know that I'm in difficult terrain. This grass is a lot tanglier and stiffer than I thought it would be when I came over here.
It is giving you cover at least.
Here, this guy.
Yep.
From where I am.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Then
You're 15
I
feet
look
up.
at him, and I cast a firebolt.
Hey.
Oh,
13.
13.
That is not going to be enough, unfortunately. So the firebolt hits and sizzles the moisture out of the sand next to your feet, Casimir.
Oh, I'm sorry, Casimir. I used up all my aim on the last shot. Okay.
Yeah, you got to let Vats recharge.
Yeah. So I'm done. I don't have any more movement.
Okay. All right. So you're
Interesting
peeking out
turn.
here, and Mordecai.
All right, so I am. I'm gonna shoot. Let's do a guiding bolt
Okay.
at this one.
Yep.
15 radiant damage.
15 is recorded. All right, so a radiant bolt slams into this thing. Casimir, it lights up, and it kind of has this lingering glow about it. Anything else, Mordecai?
I think I'm just gonna move right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of call it good.
All right. You're still feeling kind of tingly. Nothing necessarily from it right now, but you got a tingle. Casimir, hi. We're on to you.
So, very salty right now. Not in that way.
Yeah, you have to. Let me see if it's at the end of its turn. So
can do
you get a
that?
turn to do something.
Okay. That
You are
works.
technically restrained.
Oh.
So you have
you didn't
disadvantage.
mention that.
Sorry about that.
It wouldn't
If
have
that
mattered.
changes your action, you can take that back. As if I did not read the restrained portion. But yeah, you're beginning to turn into sea salt, and you are restrained.
Can I attack though, per se?
Yeah, you should be able to attack.
You'd have disadvantage, but it didn't
It's-
matter because
yeah.
you rolled worse on your first number.
I'll just stay with the attack then. That one does not hit.
13 does not, no.
You can make the second attack.
Extra attack.
Hey, even a...
That'll hit though.
All right, so the salt is crusting up on your arms, but you flex it off.
Willing, and I also get to roll an extra d8
Yes, you do.
Oof.
because it is taking damage.
All right. So that'll be 18.
Well, wait. So is it the 21
12
slashing
plus
or?
2, it's 12 plus 2 plus 3.
Yeah, which would be
Oh.
18. Sorry, 17.
All right. Once more, you just absolutely you destroy one of these raisinous foes, and it falls. And now I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I am going to use my floating advantage.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh,
All right, Casimir. You turn into a pillar of salt as the crust continues to climb up your body.
Okay.
Hmm?
This is okay. I have a way to fix this.
Casimir, how are you posed as the salt creeps over your body?
battle axe in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just mid swing.
Sure. So just, are you two-handing it because you don't have your shield?
Oh, I
Okay.
should have been two-handing it.
It is versatile.
Doing so much more damage.
It's all right. Okay, but you wanted to like be coming down in mid swing when this
She's still trying to sell that imaginary shield.
yeah. All right.
Not use the two hands.
So this crust overtakes you, Casimir, and we'll see what happens here as things are going to happen around you. So it is. Well, I mean, there's nothing Nick can really do right now, so never mind. That's just a free tally mark on the sheet. Celine, we're back over to you. Would you like to drop concentration? I'm just asking.
No.
You have the
No.
option. Okay.
No.
As the DM, I need you to be aware of every option available to you.
Oh, I'm aware. It's not happening. No. It just petrified Casimir. No. I'm going to move back.
Okay.
10, 15, 20, 25. I'm gonna move there like that. Well, petrified is a hard one. Calcified is probably better, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He can't be calcified. If he turned to salt, he can be sodiumified.
Sodiumified, natrified. He's natrified.
I just made Casimir really salty.
I'm gonna have this spiritual weapon use 5, 10, 15, move next to Mordecai.
Okay.
And I'm going to call out that, if it's native, it's not gonna stay gone forever. Get ready. We do, luckily, because of the stuff that we got given in the little package, I do have a diamond. I just need to sit down and grind it up.
Anything else then, Celine?
Object interaction. Pull out stuff to begin preparing materials for a spell.
Okay, you're popping a squat in the sand, and you're trying to dig through your bag for thises and that's. All right, we now come down to the captive, and the captive is going to let's see. The captive is going to look at you, Jacob, and simply give, closes her mouth and gives a nod, and just sort of dead waits.
Fantastic. Now we know we can communicate.
Okay. And I'll tell you what. We have this creature in a state of suspended animation, and we just are getting back to the top of the initiative. Why don't we take a 10-minute break here and use the bathroom, do whatever you got to do, and when we come back, we will be on Jacob at the top of the initiative, and we'll see where we go from here, because you technically could go into a less than a minute narrative time, but we'll see. So for all of you out there in the audience, 10 minutes and we'll be back, and let's find out what's going to happen, especially because we have this creature over here respawning in less than a minute in game time.